Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, we are reacting to Elin Review. Taxation Not Optional. Trademark. By Seth Zintach. Now, I have... I watch this creator a lot. I've seen a lot of his content before in my spare time. He's not someone that I typically watch all of the content of whenever he makes any, but I'm very aware. I'm very aware of Seth's content. He makes funny, in-depth videos about some of the strangest goddamn games you will ever see. And I'm not sure what Elin is. I'm not sure what to expect from this because I've only seen maybe a few minutes of this. And so I'm kind of up to being surprised and skeptical as much as the next person. But yeah, Seth, if nobody knows, is a channel that is a guy who typically goes and reviews, looks into very odd games, and what he tends to do more often than not is that he goes into them, he plays them, finds a way to break them, and as a result makes a hilarious montage of him basically going through the process of playing the game, discovering how to break the game, and then showing people and describing an almost autistic level of detail on how to not just thoroughly break the game, but break it in such a way to where you make the gameplay practically redundant by that point. He goes the extra mile to essentially break every game he plays, and I am fucking here for it. But otherwise, yeah, without further delay, please go like and subscribe. Go support the original creator. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and I guess get right into it.
Hey people, Seth here. I broke my microphone again. These lines come directly from a $10 webcam. Elin has reached early access. This is the equivalent of the CIA putting crack in black neighborhoods, but for the neurodivergent community. Elin is a game where I imprison the elderly, turn them into livestock, and have them lay eggs to make a new generation of senior citizen. Naturally, every grandpa starts off as a baby, needs to be breastfed by other grandpas until they come of age, and fed a single diet of pastured hay to grow old and brittle. At which point, I mount them to a wheel of pain to generate electricity, so I can power my lights and watch Sailor Moon.
What is this game? What is this anime game? The fucking it reminds me of the other game that he played. What was it? It was like some weird Chinese game that was entirely built around feng shui, where you essentially turn the entire game into trying to essentially appease the gods and appease the elements enough to where you essentially get ahead in life. One of the weirdest things you could do is that you could harvest a crop of I don't know if I could say it out loud on YouTube, but a crop of peni and sell it to people. He made an entire marketing strategy around harvesting a crop of peni from himself and others and selling it to people. And he did this because if you do a certain type of thing in a weirdly odd specific way, you can make the peni fall off of your character, and you essentially have a different type of anatomy there instead. And if I remember that correctly, it was such a weird game that I almost wanted to go and check it out primarily because of how freaking weird and bizarre it is. It's yeah, Seth goes on quite the journey with some of the random games that he plays, and sometimes the real character of this story isn't even Seth himself. It's the games that he plays that truly steal the spotlight half the time with some of the weirdest shit you can get away with. But sorry, enough of that.
Have a lack of beds, so there's a tower of pensioners stacked on top of each other every night. Each day, my population explodes, as a hot spring incubates faster than an actual womb. And each day, it contracts, as I put a for sale sticker on Grandpa's forehead. Legally, I have a license. Morally, I pay the church. In the same fashion as Bill Gates tortures his body double every day to evade karma, as long as I buy a letter of indulgence, I can sell 20 pensioners and still work off my karmic debt. I'm an upstanding.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bill Gates would do that, but instead of using old people, he would just use the miracle of child sacrifice and child labor. I mean, am I wrong?
Citizen. They are untouchables, and I will not reincarnate into a water bug. But first, a message from our sponsor. At Raytheon, we don't just build missiles. We build memories. At Raytheon, we don't just neutralize civilians. We vaporize them. Raytheon. Because it's not just a forever war, it's a forever family. As the successor to Eloda, which I reviewed over 7 years ago, Elin
what the hell is
a
that?
sandbox adventure like no other. Build a base, open your mailbox, receive spam in the form of a suicide bomber, cultivate 3 billion crop strains for testosterone, open a tourist trap and scam them for terrible prices, deliver vomit and feces for children's birthdays, poison unsuspecting townsfolk, get engaged to your child bride, send her to be stoned at the gallows, pickpocket her engagement ring, marry a slime instead, play send her to be stoned at the gallows, pickpocket her engagement ring, marry a slime.
Why does this slime look oddly like Leaflet? What the hell is this? What is going on? You know the funniest thing about slime, and particularly slime girls, is that originally, right? And I'm not the only one who thought of this. Garagura once thought of this as well before her graduation and moving on to, I guess, greener and better pastures. So slime girls, right? It seems to me, right? You can't think of a better idea for a VTuber, just conceptually, right? I mean, think about it logically here. You have you want to be a VTuber, but imagine, right? Once you pick a VTuber, whether it's like whatever shape and size it is, you're basically stuck with that model, right? Because otherwise, changing it in different ways, it just make it look inconsistent. It just make everything seem inconsistent. You have a problem with when you're anything that's a solid form for a VTuber, it kind of erodes the possibility of really changing certain aspects of it. Unless, right, you are a slime girl. And in which case, you have the most versatility out of all of the other VTubers, because once you pick a body type, you're basically stuck with the body type, right? But slime girl VTubers, right, would be a keen idea, mainly because of the fact, right, you can change and shift in a multitude of different ways, right? You have the ability, right, to make yourself taller, shorter. You can even put more mass in areas where you probably would in areas where that would be obvious, and I don't know how best to say that. You essentially have a free range if you were a slime girl, and I'm surprised and shocked that there are not that many VTubers that went with the slime girl route, and the only one that I've seen go that route is unironically one of my favorite fucking VTubers as of recent. It's kind of funny how that works, and why the fuck does it, why does it look so okay, anyways. Yeah. It's weird that no one else has capitalized on such an interesting sort of novel concept, right? Again, you could mold it and shape it into anything. You could get commissions to turn the model into whatever the hell you goddamn well wish. You could go with it. You could have big titties. You could have small titties. You could have all kinds of things. And all you would need to do is just ask for it. And you could get away with it logically because you're slime. You're literally slime. You can mold and shift and shape yourself into any avenue you wish. All right? It'd be like when Peter Parker got the Venom suit and he could basically turn the Venom suit into whatever article of clothing he so damn well wished. He didn't even need to have a wardrobe by that point. At least in the fucking cartoons and comics. Anyways, moving on. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent. It's why aren't there more VTubers that are slime? It's weird.
Instead. Play music. Get shot dead because they didn't like your performance. Bake bread by nuking raw flour. Wish for a Glock 17. Receive a railgun. Read Goblin Smut to learn their weakness. Throw your smut in the trash can. And make the trash pregnant. Punch a
Why was Vosh in the background of that? I've heard... You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to go into that one.
Raw flour. Wish for a Glock 17. Receive a railgun. Read Goblin Smut to learn their weakness. Throw your smut in the trash can and make the trash pregnant. Punch a hermit crab for so long it levels up. Enjoy hallucinations. Get cursed. Realize the cursed item you're wearing is made of food and eat it directly from your body. Get jumped by a pack of cows. Comply with their demands and brush their fur. Capture a bomb rock and host it as a parasite. Use its suicide attack to strip mine dungeons. Buy a tent. Use a paper material.
Why are the characters in this game oddly
portable pocket plane? Worship every god. Receive their apostles and artifacts. Abandon every single one of them. Roll a succubus and prostitution max your way to insane stats. Murder
what?
Son in cold blood. Bake their meat into a rotisserie chicken. Shit out.
He did not just make the succubus chick fornicate with a chicken. He did not. I refuse to believe it. Faith. What is...
Abandon every single one of them. Roll a succubus and prostitution max your way to insane.
Skill up endurance 33.
Stats.
How?
Murder.
Why do they get sick? What is going on? I'm so confused.
Someone's son in cold blood. Bake their meat into a rotisserie chicken. Shit out a dream larva and blend it into the food. Feed it to their parent and make them fall in love with you. Make every...
I'm so confused. Usually in a Seth video, there's like a story and there's a step. There's like clear and obvious steps that he took to get to where he went from the fucking start of the game to where he ended up. This is like he's going through so many things and a list of things you can do in the game. It's like there has to be a reason for this, right? There has to be a reason, a step why he's just listing all these things.
Everyone love you so hard you recruit the entire city. Turn the king into a broomstick and ride him as he calls me a fat ass and tells me to lose weight. Whip him until he turns to prostitution. So,
what?
Elin is a bizarre Japanese fantasy where you enact outlandish policies.
Oh, really? I couldn't tell.
Such as human rights, or a mandate for everyone to wear panties. But that's not fully accurate. It's about paying tax. The karmic weight of missing my monthly tax deadline is 40 times more serious than unloading an assault rifle on a homeless beggar. This is a fantasy.
Oh, God.
Funded by the IRS and TurboTax. On being asked his intentions for the game, Noah, the developer, had this to say. I simulate Tokyo Salaryman. You make no money because everybody live to 110-year-old. And then you take your own life. Game costs $20, real good. Game costs $20, real good. You could be a chaos gene stealer with more.
Yeah, I'd be careful there, Seth. You know, some content creators have been canceled before for doing that.
More hands than limbs. We don't care. Pay the state or suffer the consequences. This game's entire premise is about you getting suckered into owning land by two contract killers. Then sucker someone else into 20 million in debt for that same property. There's intrigue, politics, and lore, which you can ignore entirely as you read everyone's death log, which moves very quickly and contains a lot of slurs. Most of them from me, but I prefer this multiplayer, as taking the Moongate to...
I mean, I think that makes sense. I think that's pretty apt. You know, like, if you're about to die, you're going to probably be yelling at the top of your lungs a lot of heinous shit before you go.
Visit a random Japanese base will instantly depress me as I see his beautiful creation and compare it to my own O-Block ghetto favela. You can even put custom sprites. Half the time, this is animated smut. This is to getting one-shot by a death trap the instant you spawn in, or seeing a Boeing 767 approaching 2 skyscrapers, or loading into Outer Epstein, which has a
So this game is just cursed is what I'm getting.
one-tile entrance that takes off your clothes. Players will see their options for a pet, and most will pick a little girl. But if I throw a hormone drug in her face, she becomes a little boy. This presents the duality of a player base. Pedophile or pederast. Look, this is a setting where the surface went extinct and got repopulated by a cosmic mushroom, whose only reference point for how biology works is Japanese Daojins. That's why everyone lays eggs, because he didn't know any better. Everything is an opaque, esoteric mechanism with poor documentation, which the community abuses and exploits until Noah figures out a hotfix or workaround for their shenanigans. This is ignoring the fact that half the game is designed to troll you. Tick an innocent menu option to auto pick up fish, die instantly because you picked up a whale, drink from a water source, mutate horrifically, play on permadeath,
I feel like that's an oversight.
in the Village of Atonement, and lose everything. Get AIDS. Catching Ether disease is a natural part of gameplay and progresses if left untreated. How do you do that? By playing basketball to cure your magically inflicted AIDS.
What? We went from fantasy to basketball. What the hell is going on? I'm going on a fucking wild ass journey. I don't even know where the hell where the fantasy starts and where the ridiculousness begins. What is going on? I am so fucking confused. Oh my god.
You must become Michael Jordan. The casino chips you earn can then be used for higher.
And he did that just to cure his AIDS. I'm not sure how to feel about that. Play basketball to cure AIDS. I wish it was that simple. What do you do to cure cancer? Do you fight God?
Stakes gambling. This game is a constant gaslight. I came into this expecting.
No, you probably do is that you probably play the old style gladiatorial arena game where you basically throw a ball into a stone small hoop from one end to another, and you have to do this while riding a chariot, among other things. And I think you had to fight maybe or avoid a lion or some shit. I don't remember. You guys remember the old, I think it was, what was it, the Greeks or the Romans who did this? Pretty sure it was the Greeks, because they were usually very fucking weird about that kind of shit. They had this game, right? This really old game back in the day where they had a coliseum dedicated to it, where they would have players go in and they would essentially shoot a hoop. They would throw a ball of some kind through a small looping ring from one end of the one end of the coliseum to the other, and there was all these different almost these these slanted sort of ramparts. That's what I'm thinking of. These ramparts where it looks like you're supposed to be, I guess, it's almost like you're riding a skateboard or something. I don't remember exactly all of the things because it was so long ago since I seen this, but it's I'm pretty it looked like a really weird game. But I remember that in order to play it, you had to get very violent and very bloody to very quickly, and it tends to hurt people who play it more often than not, and so I'm thinking that you have to probably play a game similar to that to cure cancer, since curing AIDS apparently is just playing basketball, but I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing. Anyways, sorry. Tangenting. Too much.
Fun. Now I'm paying tax and addicted to slot machines. I hope you didn't take an oath before starting your character, because the blackjack table is rigged. Save scum your way to the cure and live life as normal. There are alternatives, but that requires kidnapping little girls. Memes aside, what is this? It's single-player RuneScape with no level cap, and a crafting system that lets you recreate nearly everything you see. Towns, winter hot springs, beach resorts. You can even walk off a shore and build underwater. Everything builds into something, which can be dismantled to make everything else. Material alchemy is an art form, which lets us mine out entire dungeons and turn copper to cocaine. Nothing I say is an embellishment. I throw alcohol at my blue eyes white dragon, have sex with it, and end my turn. Understanding esoteric systems by absorbing.
And he got paralyzed for doing it. What? Did he actually do that, or is he just being like facetious?
Absorbing every wiki article is the bulk of your experience. You don't have to know Japanese, but they're more informative than the porn-sick groomers that make up this game's English community, which is why
I mean, let's be honest. With a game that allows you to get away with all the stuff that I've been hearing about so far, it's actually I'm more surprised that the Japanese servers are more depraved. Actually, well, no. Then again, they're very comfortable with the sexuality aspect of their culture. You know what? Never mind. I guess it makes sense that Americans would abuse the shit out of it, as well as just other English-speaking nations would just absolutely abuse this game's ability to craft and make shit out of it. Ay. I'm gonna rewind a little bit.
copper to cocaine. Nothing I say is an embellishment. I throw alcohol at my blue eyes white dragon, have sex with it, and end my turn. Understanding esoteric systems by absorbing every wiki article is the bulk of your experience. You don't have to know Japanese, but they're more informative than the porn-sick groomers that make up this game's English community, which is why they're partitioned away in an apartheid state. For starting off, any race or class is viable, and the possibilities are endless.
You're a fat, ugly Polish whore, or you're, I don't know, Jewish person, you're a black person, you're a rapist.
A rape executioner can use mana as a second.
What is that?
Combine this with worshipping Itzpalt or Hiromi, and you have an infinite health bar. Chaos Shape Inquisitor lets you save scum for hours, and ask if it's truly worth it, as you enter the void and get soundballed repeatedly. Or, if you're a masochist, you can pick Snail Tourist and put on permadeath. Everything now costs twice as much, but the trade-off is that salt kills you. My Jury Warrior isn't meta. Her perk is garbage.
Why?
And ultimately, it doesn't matter. Because I bring a small army wherever I go. Do not feel limited by your choices. With enough investment, you can make anything work. Your objective is always the same. Get stronger by getting richer. So you can get even stronger to get even richer. Material capital will fuel your physical sociopathy. There's an infinite number of ways to do this, and these are simply suggestions. Invite residents to work your land and perform jobs and hobbies, such as gaming, gambling, gacha, prostitution, and self-harm. Set up delegated farming and automate crop rotations for passive income. Grow honey, turn it into wine. Grow mushrooms, turn it into wine. Catch fish, turn it into wine. Get paid a salary because people want to visit. Not for my impressive displays, but because I've stolen incredibly expensive panties from different NPCs. The main way of getting stats is eating food. Thus, our only obstacle is our stomach. So, we apply the secret teenage girl technique of vomit maxing. We eat, we throw up, and then we eat even more, as we watch our maid pick up vomit like the peasant she is. It's hard to gauge these values. Luckily, there's a variety of graphical and gameplay mods to augment your experience. Automate tasks and replace sprites with the horniest combait you've ever seen. Empreg Scott the Waz milking machine? Sign me up. On top of this, the game itself has a lot of quality of life convenience. You can auto-dump your entire inventory, configure resource distributions, and even just Ctrl F to search for anything on the map. Everything is completely customizable. In my case, I've gone off a deep end and can no longer see what I'm doing. This is a game of problems and solutions, and dealing with the problems you cause along the way. Mass monsters are a special creature that multiply upon taking damage. There's a spawn limit of 20 monsters entering your base at any time. Taming a mass monster, putting it on the gallows, and sealing its offspring on a set of tiles 10 Z levels higher seemed like a great idea. Until I visited my base again, only to find out everyone is dead. It turns out 2 of my NPCs are coded to teleport directly to enemies, causing them to split and spill into the base, where everyone is too weak to one-shot them. So they infinitely replicate until they fill the entire screen. Conversely, the final boss is too hard for me to kill. By pure chance, I loaded into some Japanese guy's base, which had residents who were level 250,000. They're so high level, they take 30 steps for each of mine, which they spent on gambling, drinking, vomiting, and passing out at high velocity. I fed them aphrodisiacs, and one of them laid an egg. Microwaving an egg with a chance of exploding, which is incredibly funny in the middle of an orphanage. Explosion strength is tied to
no.
and this one is 2,773. I heat the egg, and one-shot Inos, my party, and myself. This might seem ridiculous,
Jesus.
but the Japanese have already killed him with a beach ball and a banana peel. NPCs hold beach balls in their inventory when thrown at, and this one was modified by several thousand cursed scrolls of flying to weigh 10,000. So, when Inos spawns in
God.
and charges, he slips in the banana peel and is crushed to death. The world is your autism playground. Join all the guilds, learn all the skills, whip pensioners on your cotton plantation. It's your fantasy. Now back to work, Cracker. I'm not here to tell you that unless you've got insanely high taming and throw love potions at a spiral king deep in the void so you can feed that breast milk to a chicken so you can genetically engineer him into
Why?
the strongest creature in the game, that you haven't played the game. There's no win condition, only your creativity. So choose a goal, a direction, or a hyperfixation, and the rest is up to you. For as many turbo-level Japanese hypersweats at level 3 billion in the void, there's just as many who haven't even left their own base. So rest assured that no matter where you're at, there's some guy who spent his entire playthrough cultivating mushrooms, who has more money than the entire economy. In short, I love Elin. It's a very sweet, beautiful, and calming game that I can't help coming back to. The developer doesn't sleep. He pushes a new unstable build every night, and I wish him the very best. There's enough content for several hundred hours, and it just keeps getting better. I thoroughly recommend it. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. This video is dedicated to my ops, because I had a script ready after 50 hours, until I saw someone write a critical thesis about my Alona video, took it to heart, and played another free 50. It was only later brought to my attention that the man who affected me so is a barely literate weeaboo who paid thousands of dollars for his cringe OC to be put into the game. He did all this so I could turn his waifu into a burger. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
I don't know who's the bigger monster here. The fucking player base or Seth himself. Oh my god. This is... I don't even know where to begin with this. How do we... What is even this game? So, from what I gathered watching this video, right, there is no end goal. There is no point. It's just a sandbox to do with what you will and just have fun and just enjoy it. It is an early access game, so I guess that makes sense. But it's like... It's just... I'm not sure what to make of this. What is the point of this game? Is there a point? Does there need to be a point, I guess? I guess interacting with a player base and playing the game and coming up with whatever the hell you come up with and just finding the enjoyment out of crafting bases, creating a village, creating a small little community for yourself is kind of the point and enjoyment of it. This just seems like such a weird and fascinating game. I imagine... What was he just writing? Was that a fucking card of people? God. Anyways. I imagine that this is the kind of game that someone who likes to play in sandboxes ad nauseum would get
usually in a story where the hero or heroes are down on their luck,
would get a kick and an enjoyment out of. So, yeah. With that being said, I guess that's that video. Man. That was... I usually am... When I watch a Seth video, I'm usually going in for a wild ride, and then I come out of it, like, more intrigued than than where it started. But this time around, I'm more so confused, baffled, and I'm not even sure how to compartmentalize all of the random tidbits of information he threw into my face. It's like... There's so much you can do in the game, so much you can get away with, and so much that is a result of the community abusing the fuck out of the game and its mechanics, that it really does leave you wondering what the hell to make. What to even say. It looks like an interesting game, to be fair. Like, especially if you're someone who likes base builders, if you're someone who likes to, I guess, if if you like Stardew Valley, you like games like Animal Crossing, I believe. I've never played Animal Crossing, to be clear. But I imagine if you're a person who likes to play those types of games, you probably might get a little bit of a kick out of that game. Elin seems like an interesting game. I guess if you want, go check it out. But, with that being said, I'll just go ahead and end it there. Go check out Seth. Let me bring him back real quick. Go check out your boy Seth.
Usually in a
Hey people, Seth.
There we go. And go support the original video. Go support the original content creator. He makes some really wild and interesting videos. There's a few videos that I would recommend that people go watch. One of my favorite ones by far is the one where the review he did for Space Station 13. That one, I got such a kick out of that video. It's not even funny. But with that being said, please go check out Seth. He makes really great content, really interesting little diatribes into the most bizarre fucking games you will ever see. Games you've never even heard of, right? But yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching. Please go watch the original video. Go support the original content. Go support the original content creator. Go subscribe at the very least. Leave a like, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.